Good afternoon. My name is Bob Scott, editor of The Progressive Accountant, and I'm speaking today with Jim Bourke, a partner at the accounting firm of WithumSmith and Brown of Red Bank, New Jersey. And today, Jim, we want to talk about the role of millennials, the place of millennials in the workplace at the modern accounting firm.
Okay.
And I know there's been a lot of discussion about how they work and what their needs are, and I wondered if you could begin by sharing some views.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, Bob. We talk about millennials. You look at that; it's like that next generation in our profession, right? So, how I define a millennial is not in terms of what year they were born or what year the last generation ended, but it's that next generation that's entering our profession. And you're right, they have different needs than those that came before them. I look at millennials as, they get the job done. They may work a little bit differently than we used to work in a profession, right? Maybe they don't work in the office the same amount of hours, the same long days. They have other priorities. They saw their parents come before them. They saw them working longer, working harder. But I'll tell you this, there's not one millennial in my firm that doesn't get the job done. They get the job done, they just do it a little bit differently. Their work ethic, family is extremely important. Friendships are extremely important. They communicate differently than we communicated. Generations that I was in, and also came after me, we believed in communications through meetings and conferences and telephone conversations. Today, that generation grew up in a digital world, so their means of communication is texting, is email, is more in that virtual space. But the bottom line is they still get the job done.
Now, if they're texting, if they're emailing, and of course we know they rely on social media, how well are firms adapting to accommodate this kind of work style? And in particular, that requires the ability to use these various media and technologies on the job.
Yep. Well, I will tell you, when the technologies first came out, when social networking was out there, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whatever it may be, many firms that I spoke with sort of blocked those sites. Well, you can't block the way that generation communicates. I think many firms across the country woke up and they realized that blocking of those sites really is not the most appropriate thing to do, because that's how firms get business. That's how they communicate and collaborate with their clients. So many of the firms across the country, all the great firms that I know across the country, many of them have opened up social networking because they realize that's how staff communicate. In fact, many firms have implemented technologies that allows for instant messaging throughout the process, throughout the day, realizing that many staff today are going to multitask throughout the entire day. There's not a staff person, when I walk around my office, that doesn't have an earbud in, that's listening to music, that's getting their job done, that's not on IM, instant messaging their friends, their coworkers, their family members. They're multitasking throughout the entire day.
Of course, we've been talking a little bit there about the management view of the millennial. Millennials, of course, are coming out and they need to establish a career. Are they any different in the need of establishing a career, are the goals that they move towards from the predecessors?
No, I don't believe the goals are any different. I know a lot of that in that generation, many of the millennials, they want mentoring. That is a very big thing for our young professionals. They want to be mentored. So I mentor a number of our young professionals, and all it is just a matter of guiding them, helping point them in the right direction. We still have those same requirements of what you need to do to become a manager, what you need to do to become a partner in the firm. But unlike the generations before them, they're asking for our help in getting to those levels. Many in our generation didn't necessarily ask for help getting to those levels. They looked at the generation before them. They saw what they did, the hours they worked, the type of clients they had to bring in to get there, and that's how they followed. This generation asked for more of that mentorship. So we have a huge mentoring program that takes place at the firm.
So you mentioned mentoring programs. I would take it that would be part of the answer to my next question, which is what are the steps that firm managements can take to deal with the needs of millennials and ensure themselves of benefiting more fully from the incoming generations?
Yeah, great question, Bob. So it has to do with implementing a formal mentorship program. But again, not every employee will make for a great mentor. That's the whole thing. Identify key employees that would make for good mentors and make sure they mentor. I mean, think about those employees that have made it up the fast track, climbed the ladder quickly, achieved success at an early age, hit the targets of becoming a manager, a senior manager, a partner at a relatively young age. Those are your ideal mentors in a firm, and put a program around that process.
Great. Well, thank you, Jim. I have, again, been talking with Jim Bourke, who is a partner at the accounting firm of WithumSmith & Brown. My name is Bob Scott, editor of The Progressive Accountant. Thank you.